Hi, I'm Michael Fischer, the 2023 Atlanta REALTORS President, and I am so delighted to be here today with the 2023 President of the Empire Board of Realtists, Archie Emerson. Archie, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to be here, Mike.
So for those of you that don't know Archie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am currently the president of the Empire Board of Realtists, and something unique about the board this year, we are an all-women's team. And the board has been in existence since 1939, so it's 84 years old. There's never been an all-women's team until now.
That's amazing. And tell us a little bit about the Empire Board for those of people watching that might not know exactly what the Empire Board does and the work that you do.
Okay, the Empire Board is a black trade organization, and we are the Realtists. And so it was formed in 1939 for the necessity of black home ownership and for black real estate partition to be able to sell in any areas that they want to. But during that time, blacks could not buy in any areas, wasn't allowed to be sell in any areas. So with that, the board was formed by 7 real estate brokers, and they came together and formed this board here in Atlanta. We do have a national board that was formed in 1941, which was later, but we're still thriving, still making a difference in the community.
Yeah, and to that point too, in a particularly darker part of the history of the Realtor organization, people of color and women were not allowed to be members or of our association, Realtors. So all these other traders organizations kind of formed and gave their members a spot where they could collaborate and learn and raise ethics, and that legacy has kind of continued forward to today. So I'm really happy to be sitting here with you today and talking a little bit about our organizations and the jobs that we do. So tell me a little bit about the Empire this year. What do you guys have planned, and what's going on, and what are y'all doing in 2023? What are some goals that y'all have?
Well, one of the goals we have is called Many Hand But One Mission, and that's democracy in housing.
It's amazing.
So the thing is that we have continued to see the community not thrive past that 50% goal when it comes to home ownership. So our goal is to go back into the community and figure out what does it take to help our community increase into home ownership. We know it could be lack of education. What does it take? Because that myth that they need 20%, or they credit score got to be 700,
right.
You know, they have to have been on a job for at least 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Those many myths exist in our community, and we want to make sure that they're educated. How do we help them transition from renting to home ownership? How do we even save people that may be losing home? How do we tell them that there are help? The state of Georgia have many programs to help people that are currently coming out of forbearance. So
right.
as the Empire Board, we're what we call boots on the ground. So
right.
agents that come there, we know that we're helping to educate them to make sure that they can take this information back out into our community.
Yeah, and affordable housing is such a massive issue in Atlanta for everyone, and it just takes so many different tactics to try and even move the needle a little bit. But I totally agree in the education component. A lot of people get their information about housing from the news or whatever, and a lot of that is misinformed by what's actually out there. There's so many amazing products, and in this market now that we're a little bit more equilibrium, it's a little bit more, it's still short, but we still have some opportunities, things like down payment assistant programs and less than 20%, like you said, and there's a little bit less competition. That just opens up opportunities for more buyers to perhaps pursue that goal of homeownership.
Yeah, and right now we all have, whether it be Empire Board or the Atlanta Board, is that lack of home,
right.
affordable housing. So and I guess both boards are trying to see how do we help find affordable housing. Atlanta has the lowest pay scale, so when it comes to finding a home, it takes at least 2 to 3 people income in order to purchase a home. And so we're constantly trying to figure out how can we combat the affordable housing, how can we find homes that they can purchase and be able to afford to live in it.
Right, yeah. And we've been able to work together a little bit on the advocacy side with local governments, one thing that we're seeing is that there's a lot of prohibitive zoning practices, and those zoning practices prohibit affordable housing from being built, multifamily housing from being built. It's just a pervasive issue, and it takes real advocacy from different organizations to actually, like I said, move the needle. I mean, any kind of change is helpful, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done to make sure that we can be a city of homeowners, which I think for us in the industry is the ultimate goal. The more homeowners, the better.
Yes, because it's better even for kids to be raised in a home rather than confined in an apartment complex. So we find that when we can help families transition into home ownership, and they can thrive more, that it's not just home, it's teaching them about financial literacy. It's teaching them that it's the beginning of building financial wealth when you go into home ownership. Right. It's changing the mindset, and that's part of what Empire Board wants to continue to do, to change our people's mindset and say you can own a home if that's your desire. If that's your desire, that's the goal we want for you to do. What does it take? It happened, what do you need to do with your credit? Student loan is a great impact on our community, because when you go to an FHA loan, if you got a student loan and they got to count 1% or 0.5%, it could be a deal killer right there. Yeah. So it's just trying to figure out how do we help our community and educate them the best way we know how, so that they can continue to transition and make a difference. But not only that, like you say in legislature, there's so many things that are changing. Empire Board, the legislature, is making sure that we always know what's going on, what could affect our community, what could affect anybody's chance of going into home ownership, ones that currently own, even from veterans that want to buy a home, that they're not aware. Just constantly, the key to me is always going to be education.
Yep, I agree. Yeah. So if you're listening and watching, one great thing about our two organizations is that we partner together on a lot of these initiatives, and we go to Empire Board for help understanding different problems that we're trying to research, and the entire Metro Atlanta network of real estate professionals has a lot of amazing trade organizations that are out there working, and we're doing advocacy work, we're doing education. A lot of it's also just networking and education amongst our real estate professionals. I mean, I'm sometimes surprised how many agents are giving the advice and saying, hey, you're gonna have to have 20% down, or I feel like I've got to do a lot of work to dispel some of the down payment programs. VA loans are another thing. I mean, you see veterans that aren't able to, they don't feel like they can use the products, the VA loan products that they earned, and they're great products. So I'm so glad that you guys are doing the education piece and working with advocacy to try and change and make Atlanta more accessible and equal when it comes to housing.
Yeah, and we partner with a lot of companies that have great products that we want agents to know about it, because 90% of your clients see us as agents and broker before they even see the lender. Right. So that's why we must be educated. We must have the knowledge and tool to be able to take to a community. And agents there sometimes will meet a veteran and not want to go to steer them to a VA home or a VA product, but I think it's still the agent have the wrong knowledge about how VA loan work. Right. And then the state of Georgia we have the most down payment assistance almost in any states currently. And a lot of the lenders have a lot of in-house programs that are currently now. We even for teachers, police officer, that information, for me, I've been in the real estate industry 30 years. And it's always been about knowledge for me. I cannot be a great broker or agent without being well educated and knowledge about what the industry of the mortgage industry. Yeah. Because my client depend on me to know it. Right,
yeah. And we're the resource for them, and we want to be up to date and knowledgeable with everything that's going on. Well, thank you for all the work that you're doing as president of Empire. For those that might be curious, talk a little bit about your leadership journey. What did you do before you got involved with Empire? How long have you been involved with the association? Probably a long time, right? What happens in these trade associations is you show up and you're just kind of curious, and then you join a committee, and then somebody says, would you like to do this? And if you don't know how to say no, you end up, you get sucked in like a tractor beam. So
Yeah.
what was your story with Empire?
Well, and it's curious, for here where I'm at right now is considered home, because this is where I started from originally. 30 years ago, in January of 30 years ago, I came here and took I didn't even know Empire Board existed.
Oh, wow.
And then I did a deal with one of my mentors, which was Dot Kelly. She was currently a past president of the Empire Board, and we was doing a deal, and she said, you need to come and join the Empire Board. And I'm like, what is that board? And so I did, and just like you say, I joined back in 1995. And the history, it started out as you serve on certain things and you just want to volunteer. But I am an advocate for my community, so it was in my DNA. Once I came to the board and seeing what they was doing, it was part of who I was, and I wanted to do more. So I joined the board, and in 2016, I became the president for the Women Council of the Empire Board. Okay. So I served there for 3 years, and I got on the other line of the board to come up, eventually serving as many other duties. And and when this opportunity came as president-elect, by this time I have 3 sons. They was all grown, and I'm emptiness. I'm like, do I want to take on this challenge? And do I want to make a difference? And the answer was yes.
Yeah.
I am a certified HUD housing counselor, so I know what's going on in our community. Right. I know where the pain is for our community, and if I want to make a difference and leave a legacy, be a part of some of the legacy for Empire Board, was to take this challenge and become the president. Right. And that's where that mission came, many hands, one mission in democracy and housing. So I figured partnering with everybody that have the same DNA, that want to make a difference in our community, want to see home ownership for as many people that desire to have ownership, that dream of owning a home. What did it take? That's our job, is to educate and make sure, and that's what Empire Board under this leadership with this group of women is fighting for, that we can make a stronger community. And my tenure is 2 years. So I'll be at Empire Board for 2 years. And that's the goal at the end, is to see if we can move that needle past that 50%. If it's 1, 2, it would have made a difference.
Right. Yeah. My leadership story is similar, and what you'll find in anybody that gets involved with these real estate trade organizations is, it really is just a curiosity, but you find somebody that asks you to get involved. So if you're watching and you don't have anybody that asks you to get involved, consider this an invite. Both myself and Archie are inviting you and asking you to join one of the associations and get involved. But I find that constantly throughout my career, the most successful people that I've been around give back to the industry. There's hardly anybody I know that has any kind of success, and 30 years, that's a great career. I've been in this now 13 going on 14 years, and there's just a consistent that most of the successful people in this business, they like to give back. And what's amazing about our industry is that we have so many people that want to give back, and there's so many different avenues that you can do. Yes. And there's so many, no matter what your interest is, if it's politics, if it's philanthropy, if it's advocacy, there's an area within their organization to flex that. You mentioned you worked with the Women's Council. That's another one of our strategic partners here, and they have a range of different offerings and memberships, and a lot of us are members at all of these associations, and we like to stay involved with all of them. So thank you for your service and the years to the industry. It's hard to kind of really appreciate how much time that we put in, but we love it, and we would do it all over again and then some if we had a second chance, right? Yeah,
because it's not a 9-to-5 job.
No.
And your
it's a lifestyle.
I say your schedule is dictated on your client's schedule, not yours.
Right.
They dictate your schedule, so you have to do this because you love to do it.
Yeah.
And it has to be a calling, because it's up and down, so it can't be about the money. It has to be for the love of, because each client is different. We are a counselor. we have to determine our clients, their likes and don't likes, and feel them out to make sure that we are doing the best we can. So at the end of the day, when the job is over, that they're happy.
Right.
And they're satisfied with what we did for them.
Yeah, I think that's really well, beautifully said. Okay, so let's get to know Archie a little bit better. I'm going to do some rapid fire, and she does not know any of these questions.
Oh my God.
So Archie's from Louisiana. So my first question is going to be Saints or Falcons?
I'm gonna sink to a die.
Oh, come on. I
Saint
love
to a
New
die.
Orleans. I love New Orleans, but man, I hate the Saints. I'm all about the Falcons here.
Yeah.
Okay, on the same theme of the New Orleans, what's your favorite kind of po' boy?
What's my favorite word?
Po' boy.
Po' boy. See, this is what the trick is. Most people think when you're from Louisiana, everybody lives in New Orleans. That's not. So I'm from the top of the boot. I'm from up by Shreveport, Louisiana, where I'm from a little small town called Ringo, Louisiana. It's a population of about 1,500.
Okay.
That includes the dog, the cat, and everything else. I live on about 165 acres of land, and I probably didn't see a McDonald's till I was probably 11 years old.
That's amazing.
So, but I was farming. We had farm, cows, cars, and the joy of my thing was to outrun my brothers. So, so living in the city came later.
That's amazing. Okay, so on that note, if you could travel one place, where would you travel?
If I could leave today, I'll be headed to Hawaii.
Hawaii, okay. Yeah, that's beautiful.
I would be right so I could watch the sunset and relax on the beach. That would be where I would need to be right now.
That sounds great. Are you a person that gets up early, or do you like to stay up late?
I'm a person that get up early and go to bed early. So I get up about 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Wow, okay.
Because I run about 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So, but I typically go to sleep probably about between 9 and 10 o'clock.
That's such a good habit. I'm definitely on the other end. I stay up way too late, but I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they wake us up at 7. But by the time they go to bed and I have time to do laundry and do all that stuff, it's 11 o'clock, and then I got to answer emails and do all that. So I'm a night owl. If you could recommend one book to our viewers, what's a book that you would recommend?
Besides the Bible, it would be Rich Man, Poor Man.
Rich Man, Poor Man. Yeah, it's a
If it
great
wasn't the
book.
Bible, that would be the next one.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. One last question. What's your favorite thing in Atlanta to do on a nice Saturday afternoon? We've got the spring coming up. What's something that you would like to do, or that you typically like to do in Atlanta?
In Atlanta, it will probably be going to the aquarium.
Okay, I love the aquarium.
Yeah, it
That's
will
a
probably
great
be
answer.
going there, the water, the fish.
I love sitting in front of that massive screen. It's so relaxing and watching it.
It's a peace.
I agree.
It brings you peace.
And I love going there with my daughters. They, the 4-year-old just kind of can run around, and it's safe and engaging.
And you can watch, and they watch the fish and enjoy it. So that's my place of peace.
That's great. Okay, well, we're done with the rapid fire. That wasn't too bad, right?
No, it was great.
Okay, so as we close out here, for the folks that are watching or listening, what's one thing that you'd like to leave them with as far as Empire, as far as how to join or how to get involved, or any particular events that are coming up? This is your time to kind of close out and let folks know what you got going on right now.
In the month of March is International Women's Month.
Okay,
So
great.
women of different cultures that's in the real estate industry. So that we'll be targeting to show how they breaking the ceilings or achieve challenges, adversity in this real estate industry. So we look forward to anyone that want to be a part, and please join. But don't just join, you got to be a part of the movement. You got to be a part of the change. So we don't want anyone to just join. We need, because all of us have some type of special skill of asset, and we want you to utilize that at the board. So come on, join us, help us make a difference in the community, leave a legacy, leave your footprint with both boards. We thank you.
I couldn't have concluded that better. Thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate you spending time with us. It's so nice to be able to work with you and to get to know you a little bit better. If you are wanting to get involved with either organization, we'll make sure that we have links in the descriptions of these videos so that you can find more information about the Atlanta Realtors Association or the Empire Board. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.